And it's just like a grocery store. People come around with shopping carts and
Yeah.
stuff, and they just like if they see something they like, they throw it in their bag and then they check out.
Hello, and welcome back to the Voice for You podcast, where we empower the leaders of today and tomorrow. I'm your host, Jeshwant Vana. Today, I'm joined by a young leader in our community, a man with a business mind. He is what FBLA would say is a community-minded business leader. He has ironically served as FBLA president for his chapter and created bonds to help funding, like the Chamber of Commerce. He has also founded a flea market within his student body, raising over $2,000 and so on and so forth. His work has definitely not gone unnoticed, as he was named a 2025 Coca-Cola Scholar. Serving his community through business and governmental affairs, he is Mr. Dylan Vinson. How are you doing today, Dylan?
Doing great.
You know, it's nice outside today, so it's I don't know how's the weather outside
It's
in
pretty
Arkansas.
cloudy here. It's like gloomy and rainy.
Loki, I just see sun. Wait, is it? Yeah, Loki. It's like half sun, half sun, half cloud.
It looks like it's about to rain here. We'll have to see.
I can see the tree swaying. Maybe it rains here too, because I mean Arkansas is not too far from Tennessee.
Yeah,
So
not too.
if it happens there, it's probably gonna happen here eventually at some point. Maybe in like 30 minutes span of each other too. I'm not even gonna lie. But before I get into the interview, tell me a little bit about yourself, your hobbies, your passions, and who you are as a person.
This is always $1 million one. So of course, obviously, I mean, if you're a Coke Scholar, you recently graduated high school. Recent graduate, I would say hobbies. I enjoy playing video games. That's basic, of course, but I like to play a few PC games here and there. I play golf. I would say like I mean I don't know if this is what your question was leading towards, but I mean I would say career wise and stuff. I mean I'm interested in public service. I'm trying to think other hobbies. I really like listening to music and traveling. Like I love seeing different places and trying new foods. And also I really like roller coasters.
I'm the total opposite, dude. I cannot stand roller coasters.
I'm a roller coaster guy, bro. I'm a what they call an enthusiast.
I am not. I can't go that fast. It's scary. I went on. The last one I went was in 8th grade. Never again. Never again. It
They
was
have
a
some
W.
have some good parks I mean sorry, not Memphis, in Tennessee.
Yeah, the one I went to was Hollywood.
Dollywood, yeah, I love Dollywood.
Yeah,
I
no,
want to
that's.
go. I haven't even been, but the rides there are really cool.
I rode the one where like it goes backwards. Never again, bro. Never again, dude. I could have felt my legs afterwards. It was low-key like scary,
Bro. How
Like
far is Pigeon Forge from your house? Like from where you live, like from your city?
6 to 7 hours.
That's so. Oh yeah, bro.
I,
Y'all state is so long. It's just like meandering.
yeah.
Like it's just.
Yeah, we're like from like top to bottom. It's like low key not that far, but like I know
Yeah,
like here to Nashville, it's like 3 to 3.5, and
yeah,
then obviously from Nashville to like Chattanooga, it's like 3 hours too.
yeah.
Adding the two numbers, that'd be 6, which is like kind of annoying, but it's all right too because like Arkansas, it's like a smaller state, which is nice.
Yeah, it's boxy.
Yeah, it's very boxy, so it's like a lot quicker travel for like states and stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Just good thing we're not Texas, that's for sure.
Yeah, I'll be there next year. So,
Yeah.
yeah, we'll see how that works out.
California going from top to bottom, that's
It's so
3 days.
funny you mentioned those two states because that's what my decision came down to for college. So like
And
I was having to pick between those two.
yeah,
So
those are
interesting.
those are the biggest states. So those, I mean, I could say Alaska too, but
Yeah,
that's just islands. I'll be so honest.
yeah.
But before I get into my interview, I like to ask a icebreaker question, a more lighthearted question.
Mhm.
So obviously you said you are a fan of video games. So if you could have one video game character just to describe you, or just sit down and have a chat with, who would it be and why?
Video game character. This is kind of like this character would be like synonymous with like a movie as well because like there was a movie made off this character. Um, I would probably say Miles Morales
It's valid.
because I like the game like on PS5 is cool, but also like I don't know, I enjoy like the storyline behind his character and how they like created layers between like his experiences, but also like his ethnic background and stuff like, and also like bro, he lives in New York. Like who wouldn't want to swing around New York?
Yeah.
Bro? Like
Don't forget, he is Spider-Man.
yeah,
So
I would love to swing around New York all day, bro, or like
that'd be
something.
so
I don't know. Give me one of those web shooters, bro. Something.
low key. That would be tough. Is he your favorite Spider-Man of the?
Yeah, for sure. I would say so.
Definitely. I both the animated Spider-Man movies are really good.
Mhm.
I enjoyed both of them. Low key, like yeah, they are pretty good.
I love the animation too. Like, I mean, the way
Yeah,
it's animated was great.
the animation style is really nice. It is really nice. I remember my friend got that Spider-Man game. Like when he first got his PS5, it came with it. I remember we went over, we played like 1-2 hours. I'm not that big of a video game guy myself,
Mhm.
but it's usually if it's a video game, I'm playing 2K.
Yeah,
I'm not. So like when I went to his house and played it, low key, I was thinking about getting the game too. It was really good.
yeah,
What I did enjoy it. I think RPG games is something I do have to get into as well too.
yeah,
There's a lot of the games that I play, not RPG. Like Spider-Man, more like Red Dead Redemption. The games I play
yeah.
are like the games I play growing up, like Fortnite, Overwatch.
I played Fortnite a lot too.
Yeah.
I play a lot. I still like play a lot of FPS shooters. Well, I play like one, but I mean,
Yeah.
I said FPS shooter, FPS games.
I've never been a FPS guy.
Yeah. Well, Fortnite's an FPS. Well, no, it's not. It's a third person shooter. What am I talking about?
I only played Fortnite because the rest of my friends play.
Yeah.
I was never good at the game at all whatsoever.
Bro, I used to be like one of those like sweats, bro. I used to be a sweat.
No, all of my friends were sweats. Don't worry, they were sweaty.
Like COVID days, I was a sweat, bro.
Oh my god, there were so many people. Like all of my friends, they got like PCs and like PC setups, like Fortnite. There'd just be sweats on controller too, and I'd be in the corner just sitting in a box, waiting for like the last second, and then afterwards just spray and pray.
Yeah. It works sometimes though.
I'd rather play a nice game of 2K and basketball.
That's valid.
Yeah. So as a senior that has graduated, like you did say, you did graduate. First off, congratulations on, graduating
Thank
high
you, bro.
school.
I appreciate it.
It is a big deal. So as a senior that has graduated, what school have you committed to, and what about that college attracted you to commit there?
So, in the fall, I'll be attending Rice University in Houston, Texas. My college decision process, was literally so last minute. And it was dude, I can't even describe to you the amount of stress I was undergoing. Some of the other people who you've met with, who I was talking to about my decision there, because I mean we were all talking about our decisions. Some of us had already committed, a very few amount of people had committed, because most of us got into some really, really good schools, and we're really trying to compartmentalize everything that was going to be a deciding factor in where we choose to go. So
Yeah.
I will say for me, I was the school that I committed to, which obviously is Rice, I wasn't even telling anybody about it. That wasn't even an option for me, because my financial aid offers I also got super last minute. So just pro tip, do not wait. If you have any issues with your CSS profile, bro, call the admissions immediately, bro. Do not let that stuff sit, because it'll bite you in the ass later. So don't do it. But yeah, to answer your question, I ended up getting my financial aid super last minute for basically every college I applied to. And by the time I was at Scholars Weekend, which was April 3rd, so a month before the commitment deadline, I literally still hadn't gotten my financial aid. And even for 3 weeks after, I still hadn't gotten it. So I was panic mode, trying to call all the financial aid offices. And I even went to one of the admitted students weekends for another school I was considering going to, and trying to talk with financial aid, but it didn't. It ended up not working out. So the main reason I would say that I chose to attend Rice is because it was the most financially feasible for me. I got a full ride. They're paying for everything. So I have no, and then also I would say there's a certain comfortability that comes with it, because for example, the local scholarships that I received, I can keep that money and pocket it. And then also the Coke scholarship I can save for grad school.
Oh, that's nice. That is nice. Okay. So obviously you do have plans for higher education, sure?
Yeah, of course.
Because you are on a full ride to Rice. That is especially because Rice is a top school for sure, and a full ride on top of it is good. And then obviously you are Coke Scholar too, so like you said, save the money and put it somewhere else for sure. Was there anything about the campus that you found attracted to, you obviously committed there because of the finance, but what about the application about that?
I would say, so I did actually attend a flying program there in September of 2024, and I'm not even gonna lie, of course I knew that I was applying to other places and objectively higher ranking schools, I guess. I mean, because at this point that's all what it's about, even though I feel in retrospect I can deduce that you can definitely have a similar a comparable education going to any top school, there's really not that much of it. I don't think personally that there's like an insane amount of difference like educationally, maybe opportunity wise possibly, but like again, like you said, Rice is still an amazing school, you know, and I'm honored to be able to attend there. But I would say in September when I first went, like the campus is amazing. It's beautiful. I don't know if you've ever seen it or went, but it's beautiful. Like it's a great campus. And also like the feeling you get there, it's just super, super homey. Like I was a person who always knew that I was going out of state for college. Like I knew that I would be somewhere and I preferably wanted to be far away. Like for example, California, like that's where I was going to be. And that's where like up until literally like 12 hours before I had to commit, that's where I was planning on going. Even if I had to incur like a certain amount of debt or X amount of debt or whatever. But yeah, I feel like I kept trying to just like revert back to that mindset I was in September because like May of 2025 is like what 8 or 9 months after September 2024. So I'm sitting there trying to like get back into the mind state that I was when I went on the campus because I loved it. Like it was great when I went. And like I said, it felt really homey and like there were so many resources on campus that they like not only support you academically, but like in your career, like the academic advising there is like amazing. And like the support with the professors, like all of them are great. And then like, I don't know, opportunities around Houston too. Like it's a great city.
Yeah, Houston is, a big. I would say probably it could take a fight with Dallas for the biggest city. I can't tell you off the top of my head.
It's definitely Houston.
Houston?
Yeah, I'm not, no bias in saying that, by the way.
No,
but
okay.
yeah, like,
Yeah.
no, like, I think Houston's a fourth, it's either third or fourth. It's gone back and forth between third or fourth largest city in the country.
Okay.
There's about like, a lot of people, that was a misconception I had too, because I have family in Dallas, and they told me like, no,
Yeah.
like, Houston is way bigger. Like, I think Dallas has like 800,000 or maybe like 300,000. I can't remember the number, but Houston has like almost 2.5 million people just in the city.
Dang. Because when I hear like people are moving to Texas, it's always like Austin or Dallas. Everybody. There is a large Indian concentration in Dallas, though, so that makes sense. But if you hear like Texas, I go straight to Dallas. Never Houston.
Yeah,
But
for sure.
I would say it's Houston or Western Texas?
It's like southern Texas.
Southern Texas.
Yeah, maybe like southeast. I'm not exactly sure. I'm not the best geography person, but like it's like yeah, towards the bottom right corner of the state. So I think like southeast.
I still can't tell you my left and right, so I have to do this every time. But like, yeah, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Whenever they tell me to do my left and right, even when I'm like low-key driving, like I don't like do it. Obviously, I don't take my hands off the steering wheel and do it.
Yeah.
But, like, I stare at my thumbs and then imagine.
Yeah, imagine it. Yeah. That's real though, bro. That's what's real, bro.
I'm not dyslexic, but it's I don't know. I never picked it up personally ever. But yeah. But obviously with the Coca-Cola Scholarship, that means you did some crazy extracurriculars and you do have a passion for what you do.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously your extracurriculars do, like I said, they back up your scholarships, such as being your FBLA chapter president and cultivating a bond with your city's Chamber of Commerce. I was a part of my chapter officer team last year for FBLA, and my two co-presidents were both they also would go to like Chamber of Commerce and like Rotary Club and like speak at those events. They never like told the rest of the officer team like how in depth it was. I just remember seeing on like Instagram and stuff. But how did you like get in contact with the Chamber of Commerce?
Okay, so actually there was like many, or not many, I won't say many, but there was definitely like a kind of like there was an effort years prior to me being president, or even to me being in high school, I think, to establish like some sort of partnership between them, because like of course the goal of FBLA is like a CT or CTS or whatever. Any organization is to prepare you for a career in either business or like whatever respective field that your organization covers,
Yeah.
So essentially, like, not only was the chamber like super, super close to my high school, I felt like it was the perfect opportunity to kind of like converge like the interests that we have as a chapter also to like community interests, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So like I feel like it kind of gives students exposure, because my goal as president, like in my school specifically, like even being president, you have to establish some sort of like goals and outline that should be like tentative for the upcoming year. Mine were essentially like my main goal was trying to give students like internship opportunities, or any type of experience that could connect them to establish some sort of network within the community or even outside of it, or give them some sort of like frame of reference for the career to decide if they want to go into that or maybe not, because that was like sort of lacking. And we have like an established program at our school that's kind of like early release. It's called Internship, but like you get out essentially as a senior for 3 periods if you have all of your course requirements met and all that stuff. So
okay.
I was trying to establish it for the upcoming year. So essentially I was connecting with the Chamber of Commerce to see, like, because they're in with all community business owners. Like, that's essentially like their
Yes.
job as a
Yeah.
chamber. So essentially students were either able to intern with them, which students actually end up doing, which I was like, very, very happy about, to be able to see like my work come to fruition in that way, because I had to speak in front of them along with like three other FBLA members. We spoke in front of them during the summer to kind of like create a proposition as to what it would look like. And of course, like, even now, that's a big partnership, so it's still a work in progress, but I am happy to say that there are students who have interned like with the chamber specifically and then got connections with other businesses in the communities.
Definitely, definitely. I just did come back from state officer training for, ironically, FBLA. So, the words CTE and CTSO the past 3 days was basically drilled into my mind.
Yeah.
There are 5 other CTSOs in the state of Tennessee, all of them different, different aspects of, career and technical education. So, they put a big emphasis on, the state training about the CTSOs and what it stands for and how to run CTSOs, like that for sure. So obviously I, along with yourself, are very big advocates for CTSOs and the impact they have. Actually, while I was running for state officer, I had this thing, my campaign slogan was "Your best guess is Jesh."
Cool. Catchy.
It's kind of a rhyme,
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I sat on, like, we're trying to do my campaign for like 5 to 6 hours. It took me a sec, I'll be honest. It did take me a sec, but like, guess, I connected it with game, so I made like my 4 main points with the word game, and the E was, educate, to bridge, like you said, find internships for students across not just like my chapter, but across Tennessee. Internships, connecting the high school level with the post-secondary world. So I definitely see, or maybe I'll maybe have to take some tips from you in order to like make it, a little bit bigger, because I know
Yeah, definitely.
with like the Chamber of Commerce here, none of, like, except for my 2 co-presidents, no one else really had any interaction with them per se, for sure. But obviously, in order to be a president of like a CTSO organization like FBLA, you had to be like, what attracted you to join FBLA to like begin with?
So I joined like at the end of sophomore year, or I get at least get an interest at the end of sophomore year. And at the time I was planning on majoring in finance, because I hadn't taken any like AP classes that would like, I had taken APs, but like not the ones that like diverted me towards what I actually want to study in college. And at the time I was like considering finance, not necessarily business, but finance. And I was like, okay, as far as like exposure, like what organizations could possibly like, give me some sort of experience, like, or some sort of like perspective to know if I really want to be able to study this major or not and enter this career field or not. So FBLA was like the most adjacent thing we had towards that, because we don't really have like a competition or like an objective test or anything like that for finance specifically, but there's things that like you would have to use skills that overlap. There's some intersectionality there, if that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. I joined FBLA at the beginning of my sophomore year too. Everyone's journey and, the CTSO in general is, different. I know some friends, like my state webmaster, he's been doing FBLA. He's placed at the national level from middle school. So, everyone's journey is a little different from next. But, we're all still part of the same CTSO. We're still part of a CTSO, Every CTSO is different in the way they run. And we just have to respect that. So how would you say your term as president was, as like team bonding, getting to meet these new people, and how was that experience?
I will say, like, specifically for me, my term as president was like a little rough, I'm not gonna lie. There was like a lot of like conflict between, or I won't say a lot, but there was definitely like some level of conflict between the leadership team and the advisor, and like what we could and couldn't do, and there were some blurred lines and stuff like that. So like it made it, I don't know if you've ever experienced that, but like it makes it a little difficult to like get stuff done, you don't like necessarily have the freedom that you need to be a leader. So like for me personally, like that was like, I won't say like paralyzing, but that was sort of like inhibiting, like for me to be able to like do what I needed to do.
Yeah.
But I would still say like my time as president like was great. I mean, being able to like represent, for example, like I took, I guess, office in March of 2024. So I attended nationals last year as president. So, I mean, I got to represent there. And then of course, like at our state team of, they have
Orlando, right?
Yes, in Orlando.
Yes, I was there too. I I went as just a sole member,
Oh, cool.
but as a competitor, we placed first in digital video production last year, so we went for that. Unfortunately, didn't place. We're going again this year, me and my team, because we placed first in public service announcement,
Cool.
and we are trying to look. I've always been a big filmmaker guy, so obviously you can tell with like the two competitions I chose.
Yeah.
But we are locked for sure. It's in 22 days, so we have 22 days to get everything situated and ready. And one of my teammates is leaving for like basically the rest of June. So yeah, it's rough out there, but we're definitely gonna bring home that gold. Hopefully, knock on wood.
Sure. We'd love to see it.
It was because the competition like for FBLA too this year, I would say it got tougher.
Yeah, it did. I mean, I feel like for my event, like I didn't really know because I did I did my own event.
Yeah.
First, I guess on the state level, but then I also did the mandated event like for leadership in FBLA. So
Yeah, chapter business.
yeah. So I think we placed in the state like 6th for that, but like I guess I didn't know like because I'm gonna be honest, like for my objective test I did not study. Like I did not study for that, bro. Like you were not catching me studying. So because I mean I will say like I think econ isn't like I won't say it's easy, but like I feel like because I've taken both of the APs already, and like I took them last year, so I was like, I mean there was a lot of overlap in the information, so like I didn't know like what the scores would be like on the state level or whatever, but I mean I guess I did. I mean I guess
Yeah, definitely.
So
I know for like public service announcement last year too, because me and my team went into it thinking it would be an easier placement because there were only 4 teams that placed last year, and top 4 go to nationals.
yeah.
We looked this year, there are 20 teams, including us, competing. So we got scared, like scared. Because like that's 20 teams, and then like they had like certain like competitions because of how many people there were. They had to split them into 2 groups. They have prelim rounds and then a finals. So me and my team got like really, really scared.
Yeah.
The prelim round we obviously passed. We passed, and then we got finished first. We finished like really, really well in the final round with like a 96.5 out of 100.
Cool. Wow.
Yeah,
That's good.
it was nice scores. And then some of like the points that they took off for us were low-key crazy too. Like for say like the video, right? You get a 0 if you don't have the video in your presentation, and a 5 if you do have a video in the presentation, right? One of the judges gave us a 4. Yeah, so
There's no other criteria. It's just present and not present, and that's it.
Yes, that's it. Pretty much. And we got a 4.
Some of them like do not know.
Yeah, I think it was just. I think she was just not like in the mood or something. Maybe because like she's been doing it all day. Props to the judges. They take their time out of their day to like.
Yeah, of course,
Yeah,
of course,
for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
But thankfully we got first. So
yeah, it's always good to
the rating. Because there was like one other team that we saw as like main competition. Like it's like from a school like in our area. It's like really, really like good. And we heard them get second. And when we heard them get second and we didn't hear our name, it was like, okay, yeah, we got first. Like, it was a good feeling too, especially. But I was obviously still in tension for like state office. So
yeah.
I was more worried about that. So when we got first, I was like, okay, cool. It's like, all right.
Yeah.
I was more worried about like the state office and campaign because the whole time it was that. But taking that business knowledge, you were able to co-found a flea market within your student body, which grossed over $2,000 to facilitate entrepreneurship. So what was this flea market about? Like, what did you sell, or like, how did you get the idea in general?
Okay, so my junior year, I was actually involved in leadership in FBLA as well. I was a community business partnership manager, so it was kind of like a role that I was appointed, but I also like literally like physically helped like build the booth. And then also like ideas as far as like administrative stuff that we could do, like ideas regarding like types of things we could put in the booth and possible opportunities for students. Like that was, mostly me as well. So it was like a joint effort between me and my advisor. So essentially like there's a local, I don't know if this is a thing in Tennessee, but in Arkansas we have like some stations or like there's like a facility or a building in which like vendors can come in and have like maybe like a 5x5 or something like that booth. Or maybe like a 10x10 or whatever dimension booth, and they sell whatever they want out of it and like have to rent it out monthly, and people come in like and shop at all the different booths, like kind of like a store, but like of course there's vendors everywhere. And basically we got the idea to kind of create a partnership between the actual market themselves to create a booth, and we got like a discounted rate and stuff. So essentially, like how it facilitated entrepreneurship between students is because it was essentially student run. So like students were able to actually create the products that were put in, or like, you know, come and maybe possibly get clothes from their house, or, you know, any sort of trinkets that they had, because frankly, like a lot of older people come in there, so they like, you know, antique stuff, or like, you know, just cool little things. Basically, like we would get like a sales tracking and have like data analysis and stuff that could also be utilized by students, because like we would track all the stuff in the spreadsheet and see what was selling, what wasn't. We would have students like price and tag the items like on our campus, and then be able to transport them over there, which you know, I think it really did give students like that kind of business scope to be able to like function. I mean, like I see how like the functionality of a business truly is, like from an actual business owner standpoint.
Definitely.
And of course, we had to break even every month with the rent and then sales. So
So did you run the flea market like every month? Was it like...
So prior to me being president, yes, I was actually in there like week by week, like going in there, checking stuff, rearranging all the items, making sure stuff is priced correctly, like all that different stuff, all the ground, like, you know, all the hands-on stuff. And it was cool. It was a great experience. I loved it.
Definitely, you know, if you're running a flea market, you do need daily. Was the flea market open like 7 days a week, or was it just...
I think they were open, like they're probably, a lot of places down here are closed on Sundays, so
okay. So
I don't think they're open on Sundays. They might be actually, you know, like after like a certain time, but they were open like 6 or 7 days a week. Yeah.
Okay, so obviously since it's like through FBLA, you know, it's like it's a CTSO's student organization, and obviously, you know, in the morning there was like, you know, school, and you know the students can't really skip school, otherwise that's not good. So how did you all combat that issue per se?
I would say luckily, like for the nature of a flea market booth, like things sell for themselves. So you can come in whatever time is convenient for you, and your profits will still roll in regardless. I mean, because the items are still sitting there, and there's a cashier at the front who will get the items and take care of it for you. I mean, like, so it's just like a grocery store. People come around with shopping carts and stuff, and they just like, if they see something they throw it in their bag and then they check out. And then of course, like the profits will go to us. And I actually I had a tracker on my phone that I could see what the sales were like in live time, which was really cool. And I mean, yeah, like, so luckily that wasn't really an issue that presented itself for us, like, just because, I mean, I guess like maybe possibly for like pricing and stuff, like we had to have an actual like time like allotted for students to be able to like price items and stuff, because it's pretty tedious, like with the amount of like inventory we used to get, like we had to price items, you know, quickly. So our advisor used to have like some students in like her business classes do it for her, or also like she also helped like partner with the special needs program at our school, and like they were doing I mean, because of course the tasks are relatively like, you know, simple, so it was just like pricing the items, and then, you know, it definitely like gave them that experience as well. So that was another cool outlet of the program as well.
Definitely. And obviously, you know, it teaches, you know, connects with the community, which is a big big pillar in the FBLA, you know, bylaws and code. But also, you know, like you said, one of your main goals was to connect students to like internships and like jobs throughout FBLA, which, I mean, the flea market, you know, does help for sure. So would you say that was like a fundraising tactic, or was that just like help students, you know, get more combated with entrepreneurship?
It was both, actually. So it served, I would say it served both goals for sure, because like I mentioned before, like we did struggle like a little bit as a chapter, like collectively with FBLA funds. I mean, that was apparent this year because none of us are going to nationals this year, just because of like the sheer cost. It's literally like $3,000 to go. And it wasn't much fundraising. But I will say, like, when we went last year, funds from the flea market booth definitely went towards supporting students. So that was another great thing that, like, I was like, it's like some of my work paid off, you know.
That makes you feel good for sure.
Yeah, I mean, because, I mean, of course, it's on a micro level. Like, $2,000, I'm going to be honest, isn't like a crazy amount of money compared to, like, you know, some of the other stuff kids around the world have done as far as fundraising. But, like, that amount of money was, like, in a few months, I think, like, maybe, like, you know, it wasn't a crazy amount of time. So the fact that money was able to go and actually help students, like, get to nationals and get that exposure, like, was really rewarding for me, especially, like, going in as president.
Definitely. Obviously, like, To be a good leader, it doesn't have to be like global. You don't have to be a global leader. Make an impact in your own community is what makes you a good leader, which you definitely have shown for sure. A side question: how big would you say is your FBLA chapter?
This past year, we had about, I think, like 60 or 70 members,
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. Of course, they weren't all active, but like,
Yeah,
there was about, and I think the year before that, there was like 70 or 75, something like that.
that's a pretty big chapter. I know my chapter, we grew. So like 2 years ago, it was like 10 kids, and then we jumped up to 40, and then we jumped up to 130. So it
Oh,
was, yeah, it was
um,
massive.
that's huge.
So I was, and obviously last year I served as the marketing manager. So it's something I take a lot of pride in. So those my FBLA stats. I'm like, I was the marketing manager, 40 to 130. That's like off marketing.
Yeah,
And this year, along with state vice presidency, I also am serving as the community service outreach director at my school. So, obviously you did do that and you did make the flea market. So definitely gonna have to stay in contact. And
for sure.
I'll probably, because I need ideas to definitely, because I want to cut funds to like cost to, like, my school does a really, like, in my opinion, FBLA at my school is probably like better than any other school when it comes to like fundraising and meeting people and like giving opportunities in the business field. Like all the other CTSOs, they run on like just sole competition based. We need money to go to state, we need money to go to nationals. But with the FBLA, like in my school FBLA, not only do they focus, I'd be honest, they don't focus on competition that much. Yes, it is an aspect. But we focus more on the community service, giving back to our community, meeting or networking and meeting like fundraisers, fundraising directors, the city mayor, the Rotary Club, and we've had. I know last year we had 3 to 4 speakers come in and talk to us about there was one guy, he worked at a bank, he ran a bank, so he had the finance, and there was another lady, she came in, she talked about her time as she runs a business, a sole business herself. So that was pretty nice too.
Yeah,
All of that combined, we did win chapter of the year for Tennessee, the first one. So I take a lot of pride in that too, because as
yeah.
marketing, I had to edit a couple videos, so it
And
was.
congratulations, that's huge.
Thank
Congrats.
you. That was like one of the first things. They announced it at opening session. I low-key was more excited to win that than first place. I'll be so honest. Like I jumped out of my seat and started like jumping. Everyone looked at me like a weirdo. But they
I mean, it's also like what the what the award represents, because like
yeah
for us also, like we tried to make it a, I guess, a pillar to have guest speakers and stuff like that were from
yeah
around the community. So like of course the Chamber of Commerce facilitated that, but like we wanted them to actually come in and like be present and visible to students as well.
yeah
So
exactly.
yeah, I can definitely see what you mean when you say like connections with the community and how like that award made you feel. Because I think when we got like, I don't know if y'all do champion chapter, but we do that as
That's
well.
one of my big goals. As I want more champion chapters across Tennessee. I want my school to do champion chapter last year. I'm going to make sure we do champion chapter this year. I want to do champion chapter this year.
Yeah, we've done it for the past like few years.
Yeah, it's definitely a nice reward too.
Yeah.
What's put on chapter 2.
Mm.
But you're super involved in business and shows you're a business minded guy and working civics, and with your desire to both grow a global influence and interest in civics, you did mention in your Coke bio that you love learning new languages. So can you speak any language except English?
Yeah. So actually, I'm really close to being fluent in Spanish. Completely understand the language. I think I plan on studying abroad in college. So like once I do it, I know I'll definitely come back with fluency. And then I want to pick up, start studying. I mean, I feel like, I don't know. I'm the type of person that like, I feel like I can't, sometimes I jump around, but with languages specifically, like I have to gain
Yeah.
fluency completely in one language before I like
Go to
deviate.
another one, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I really want to be, I think my end goal is to become a polyglot. And I may actually do court interpreting for a little bit, possibly. Because story yesterday with my internship, like I get to literally view like and go behind the scenes for literally every department with the AOC. So they have a Department of Court Interpreting Services. So like literally like for 130 languages, they can call in an interpreter for wherever they need and get them to interpret for the defendant, witness, whatever. And sometimes for like legal services, like if they need to be like a mediator between
A
the defendant
translator.
and like the attorney, for example, to make sure that legal advice is actually being provided.
Okay.
Um, when there's that language barrier, and like I don't know,
Yeah.
for me personally, like I don't know, like I think multiculturalism has just become like a huge thing for me, like in like every aspect of my life. I feel like exposing yourself to other cultures gives you that like global perspective around about the world, and like makes you see things differently. Especially like as somebody who wants to go into public service, because I feel like the way our society is like comprised of literally so many, especially like in the United States specifically, like I feel like it's so important to like factor that in when making like any decision that will impact people who have different experiences, come from different backgrounds.
Definitely. When did you start picking up Spanish?
I would say I took Spanish like 1 and 2, 9th and 10th grade, but I wasn't like really serious about it. But I started like really trying to learn. After, I don't know if Tennessee does, do y'all do the seal about literacy?
Yes. Yes, we
Okay.
have it on my school. Yes.
After taking Spanish 2, I, again, like at this point, I hadn't really spoken much at all. Like that wasn't really part of the curriculum at our school. I just did like conjugations and like past present tense, like all that type of stuff. But it was more like grammatical rather than like actual conversational Spanish. So I was really shocked because I mean I took the Seal by Literacy test after like 2 years and I passed it.
Congrats,
So thanks, man. I appreciate it. So then I took AP Spanish this past year after taking Spanish through my junior year. So yeah, that's essentially how long I've been. It's been about 3.5, 4 years.
and you're pretty much fluent too, which that's crazy, dude. Like 3 or 4 years, because
Yeah,
learning a language, especially like at our age now, it's
it's
not
pretty
easy.
difficult. It's not easy. No, it's not.
There's like science that plays behind it too. It's like it's some sort of science. I remember reading it somewhere. But yeah, definitely. As someone that is, I'm also bilingual. I speak Telugu. It's the Indian language.
I've heard it.
So like you said, it's two different worlds, two different cultures, two different ideas, two different people. Not people, I would say, but like two different cultures. Let's just say that.
Yeah, for sure.
And you get exposed, and that's like low key my favorite thing about my culture. Like get to see two sides of a coin rather than just one.
Exactly.
That's really something with learning languages. You said you were trying to learn something after
Yeah, for sure. I'm literally just giving a list, but I think I want to learn at least like one language from like the most populous regions, like continentally, if that makes sense.
Yes.
So like for example, like I guess Asian languages, like I'm probably gonna pick up either Mandarin or Japanese, and then I really want to learn Igbo. I don't know if you've heard of Igbo or Yoruba before. They're Nigerian dialects.
I have.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'll definitely study one of those in college as well. And then like of course I know Portuguese is easy to pick up, or easier once
Yes.
you have learned Spanish. So
Spanish, yeah.
I plan to study that as well. And then actually, interestingly enough, I think after learning those, I think I may like end up going into possibly an Indian language like Gujarati or like maybe like Hindi.
Definitely. I mean, if you ever need help learning Telugu, I got you, dude. I got you.
I feel like I don't know. I feel like I want to learn at least one from like every like super populous region, like in
Yes.
case like I travel there, or which I will. Like I feel like it's easier to communicate.
I would say like if you're like, especially if you're like interacting with an Indian person here, like Telugu people make up most of like Indian U.S. population. So if you ever want to talk talk to someone here, Telugu is definitely a language you want to pick up. But if you're obviously going to India, Hindi definitely. I would say Gujarati because Gujarati is more like in like North India. It's only in North India.
Yeah.
Hindi can be spoken in a lot of areas for sure because it is like along with English and Hindi are India's two national languages. I can understand like none to barely any Hindi because it's in India, like everything is diverse.
Yeah.
Like you can't like it's a bunch of regions split up and like different languages, different cultures, different everything.
Yeah.
It's basically like stepping into a whole new country or world.
Yeah, for sure.
Each place, for sure. But earlier you did mention, you did have an internship. Could you go more in depth on like what it is and what you like actually do?
Yeah, of course. Essentially, my internship is with the Administrative Office of the Courts for the state of Arkansas. So essentially what they do is completely support the judicial system like the entire judiciary throughout the state. So think district court, circuit court, appellate court, Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court is actually right above where I work. Like their chambers are right above where I work. And I've actually met, like, I had a conversation with the Chief Justice of our Supreme Court like a few days ago, which was like crazy. I've talked to, and I'm actually gonna I think I have a lunch scheduled with one of the appellate judges, it's not really the Supreme, but I mean, the Arkansas, like the appellate court, the Court of Appeals. So there's 12 of them, and then there's 7 justices on the Supreme Court. So essentially, like, what I do is, typically I'm like stationed in the public education division, which is basically like there's a facility that kind of just explains like the judicial system in the state of Arkansas. So like they'll tell you about the different court levels, monumental figures in legal history, or you kind of get like biographies about each of the justices, the current justices and former justices that have, like, you know, made strides in the judiciary. And essentially I get to like give people tours, which is a really cool thing. Also, like being able to connect and seeing like kids' faces, or even like there was a group of college interns a few days ago that from local colleges like around our state, and they got to take a tour, and that was kind of like the catalyst for me being able to speak with the Chief Justice. So that was really cool. But I mean, also there's like a judicial education branch, which they're responsible for like literally educating justices like around to make sure they're like up to date on their licensure, which is really cool as well. Because like, for example, there's an upcoming meeting, it's called Judicial Council, and what's happening is justices from around the state are going to meet up to essentially like take different courses. Like it's like a multi-day conference, and I'm pretty sure, I mean, most states are kind of reflected in the same way, but just getting to be a part of these things is really cool, because I mean, a lot of them are unseen. The nature of the judicial system is supposed to be like, I guess, secluded. It's supposed to be impartial and nonpartisan and away from like other aspects of like, I guess, the political world. But I mean, it's really cool like being able to see all these things. So essentially I just like help out with different things. I kind of like facilitate things getting done within the office. If anybody needs anything, then I, you know, just help them. But it's a lot of learning. I'll say that.
Yeah, the judiciary is definitely, you know, the democratic part of our society, because, you know, judiciary is like the judges and, you know, the voting and like that. And do you have a plan on going into like, obviously you're going to study public service and all that in college, but do you plan on going into like the judiciary side, the judiciary branch, for like a workforce option?
Possibly, yeah. So I'm not gonna lie, I literally have so many interests. It's not even funny. Like, I mean, I have not, like, I literally have not decided like exactly what I want to do.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But as far as like, I think I kind of want to like combine my interest in languages in the judiciary, because like I think I could do court interpreting for like a little bit, actually. Like once I graduate college, if I want an internship coming back here, like I said, I know a lot of people there, so like I think honestly, like I think my end goal would either be like maybe be like a legislator, or, you know, public service in some capacity. So I think having that scope, like being a part of the judiciary system or the judicial system, like you have a different level of respect. And I think to be in like every branch of government and like understand how it is from a functionality standpoint, you understand on a different level how government is supposed to interact, if that makes sense.
Definitely. You know, what you said, it sounds low-key like international affairs. You could definitely go into that for sure too, especially with, you know, wanting to learn all these languages, and obviously you have experience in public service. You would probably be a perfect candidate for like international affairs, you know, talking with other people internationally. Like say if you're talking to someone from like Mexico or like Spain, boom, you're already fluent in Spanish. Like that's the thing a lot of people internationally, like international affairs people, don't have. That flexibility with the languages and the language barrier, which obviously is not a problem for you. So definitely, but I see where you're coming from. Personally, myself, I'm a rising senior. I don't know what I want to do in college. I'll be so honest. Like everyone, to make a unique person, there's multiple different aspects and things that you are interested in.
Of course.
And, you know, you can't let that one thing, you know, that major define who you are. And obviously with you are very much into business, finance, the international affairs, languages. So yeah, for sure, I can see. I definitely agree with what you're saying, and that's a problem with a lot of people too. A lot of people, yeah. But you know, along with, you know, your internship with the Judiciary Courts of Arkansas, you also did work with the Little Rock City Directors campaign. So how was that like? How was that experience?
It was great. So essentially, I'll just use this one experience to kind of encompass like my experience. Basically, the campaign was lasting for like maybe a month or two, and he would have like multiple events that he would do. For example, like at community events, for example, like there's a like a sub kind of like a subsection of my city called the Heights, and where he was, there's like a strip of long road where there were so many vendors, like usually community business leaders. So like of course there's going to be people actively voting members in the community who are going to be on the strip. So he had a booth set up there, and essentially like I was just talking to people and explaining them like the goals of his initiative and essentially like the policies that he wants to change, like as city director. So there was like recreational development, economic development, I said recreational opportunities, like housing developments, things like that, because they kind of spearhead like developmental policy for the city. So it was a really cool experience for sure.
Definitely. Did that, change your outlook on what you want to do in as a person, or just like any change in outlook on life?
Yes, I would say being involved. Okay. I think I've known prior to that. I knew that I wanted to go into public service. I will say that like I think specifically for my city, because I mentioned earlier that like I feel like it's always been a point for me to want to like kind of leave Arkansas.
Yeah.
And I guess that kind of carries the implication that like you're gonna change whatever community you end up in rather than like the community that you're from. But I feel like it gave me a new value for like staying to my roots, I guess, and like actually still like using the experiences and the opportunities that I've been given to pour back into my own community rather than just like going elsewhere.
Are you still super in touch with the city director himself?
Yes, we're still connected.
That's good too, because now you have more.
Exactly.
So with all of these, accomplishments, being FBLA president, running the flea market, even your junior year with the city courts and all of that, you were able to earn the Coca-Cola Scholarship and got to go down to Atlanta, Georgia for Coca-Cola weekend. So how was that process, going into Coke, applying for it? And then how was the experience traveling to Atlanta, meeting a whole bunch of people who were very different in mindset, but, have their passion for what they do?
God, man, when I say nerve-wracking, like, when I tell you, like, I mean, the process was, like, super, like, I mean, I'm sure some of the other scholars I've told you as well, but it's, like, it was, like, dude, like, it was nerve-wracking for me. I mean, it's really, like, they have you sitting on edge and, like, I mean, I will say they're pretty prompt in the way that they, like, get the information to you and, like, make sure that, like, everything, you have all the information you need for the next step in the process, or even, like, once you finally, like, actually get the scholarship, like, they essentially like they make sure that you're taken care of. I mean, I'll say that. So traveling to Atlanta was very smooth sailing. I mean, I'll say that. It was, like I said, we had a Zoom meeting like before, like prior to leaving, and they kind of like went over basically all the rules and the regulations and stuff that we would need to know, like travel requirements and like all the different stuff that we would need.
Yeah.
And I actually was watching it on the way back from my senior trip, which was like March 28th. I went to Europe.
Nice.
Which was really cool. But yeah, so we made a joke out of it because like we had like a group chat on Instagram, so that's how we were all connected before even going.
Yeah.
Essentially, like there was this joke made that they were like, oh, like there's and mind you, this was, I'm gonna preface, like, this was a real rule. Like, this is something that they were being dead serious about. Like, when they said it on the Zoom, they literally told us, like, do not bring any other like products other than like Coca-Cola, like under the Coca-Cola umbrella. So like no competing products that includes like Gatorade, like Powerade, like anything, like
no Pepsi.
No Pepsi. Oh, absolutely not. No Pepsi. Like, and they were like, oh, they're gonna revoke our scholarship for bringing Pepsi.
No. I look at my like.
No one brought any Pepsi though. I'll tell you that.
Okay, that's good.
But yeah. The process itself, like, I mean, I was on it. I mean, because I'm sure you know the statistics. I mean, it's like some crazy shit, like a sixth of a percent or some crazy shit like that. Like, it was. So I mean, of course, like, I was like, when I found out the news, like, I was like flabbergasted. I was like, bro, this is crazy. I mean, because the more you move on, like, I mean, you have people supporting you, of course, always surrounding you, telling you. Yeah. But at the end of the day, it's the same parallel with like the college application process. Like, and I know, of course, like the Coca-Cola Scholarship is like multiplicatively more competitive than like any college that you could apply to. But I just say that to say that, like, you can have people supporting you all you want, but I feel like at the end of the day, the statistics are going to be daunting, and they're going to be like very apparent in your mind, like, and it gets to you, like, you know, it's like it's always replaying in your mind. And that's how it was for me. I was like, bro, like 100,000 kids apply and only 150 are getting it. Like, there's no way I'm one of those 150, but I was. So
yes. How was like, obviously you were in touch with them before, but like, going down and meeting them, like meeting all these new people, How was that?
It was amazing to say the least. Like it's like as soon as I stepped in the room, there's like this breath of like intelligence and achievement, like, and almost like it's easy to get that, like, I mean, I mean, of course, these are words that you've heard before. I mean, imposter syndrome, like, it's easy to feel like I'm like some of these kids are like doing some like really, really crazy things. Like, I just do stuff in my local school community. I don't have like the most, opportunities to do. Like, of course, I know I've done some stuff, but these kids have like, like ISEF, or like, I mean, there wasn't an insane amount of ISEF kids, I don't think, this year, but I mean, people have done
Last
that,
year there
like,
was a lot. I know that.
yeah. I mean, like, you have kids that have like done cancer research and like all this different stuff. Like, I mean, like, so I mean, national awards, like there was a lot of Senate Youth Kids this year as well,
Yes.
or like Coolidge Senators, and just all these different other programs that like sometimes like I had low-key like not heard of before
Yeah.
before like prior to attending. So I would say like I made some great like connections and friends there. Like the people were like amazing. Like I would say there was some people who like were a little bit more vain than others, like as far as like hyper fixating on like, oh, what college you go to or what college you get into and this and that. Like, of course, that was like an icebreaker question for everyone because we're all
Yeah.
seniors and just got our decisions back. So of course we're gonna be like on cloud nine. So I was going to everybody like whenever I was asked, I was open. I would give the information. But like I said before, Rice wasn't even a school I mentioned. Like I was just like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
like got into this school, like, and that was it.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Well, I'm still deciding. Yeah.
yeah, or I'm deciding. That's what everyone. I mean, that's what we were all saying. But yeah, I mean, it was like definitely a great experience. Like there was so much. I don't know. Like I used the word diversity, but I'm talking about like experientially and like so many people from different backgrounds, like different things that they do, hobbies, like where they're going to college. Like you would think that everyone's going to like these top like prestigious schools, but like literally one of my roommate is going to the University of Kentucky. Like that's not, and I'm not saying that's like, but he's like in an amazing program there. Like, or like you have a lot of people doing BSMD programs, which is like also like crazy, like crazy hard to get into.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So like I'm just like, dude, like like I said, a lot of people like I feel like I kind of went in with the perception that it would be like there would be like this emphasis on like, oh, like, everyone's going to, I mean, which I won't say that there was, because there was dead ass like 35 kids going to Stanford, which was,
I believe there was 13 kids for Stanford, and then 35 was like Harvard.
yeah, I think it may have been opposite. 'Cause I know there was at least like, because we had like a separate group chat, which was like, I don't know if I completely like agree with like, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's just to connect people from the same school that are Coca-Cola Scholar. So like, I don't know. But sometimes like it became a thing like where everyone would be like, oh, we got to get a Stanford picture, we got to get a Harvard picture, we got to get a Yale picture, like, But like, no, at the end of there was like, I was in the Stanford group chat. There was like 40 of us in there. So like, it was like, it was crazy. There was a lot of people.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was like pleasantly surprised because people were like genuinely down to earth and like willing to like, have genuine conversations. I mean, some more than others, of course, but like there was definitely like some really genuine conversations that we had, and like especially I feel like that was really apparent if you ask anyone like in the LDI, which was the Leadership Development Institute that we did. Of course, like on the first day, we were all like so fucking tired. Like all of us were so tired. Like we were literally like zombies in there. But like the second and the third day, like we were all like, it was amazing. Like the conversations we had were like so genuine and down to earth. They had us like doing different like leadership activities and like just being really personable, really with each other and vulnerable. So I mean, like I feel like it brought us closer.
Definitely. That's a great 150 of the greatest minds across the U.S. High school minds across the U.S. And obviously you are one of them too. So. But imposter syndrome was definitely a word a lot of people have told me. That is one of the main time points that I've heard from a lot of co-scholars. It was like, I did not feel like I was supposed to be there.
Yeah.
Imposter syndrome, yeah. But
Yeah.
all of y'all were selected for a reason. And, there's no reason because all of y'all were selected 150 out of 150,000 people. 0.15%. Like, y'all were there for a reason. So, and y'all 100% deserve it, for sure. But in your personal eyes, why do you believe you were a Coke Scholar?
I will say, I really did spend like a lot of time on the application. At least like the initial one, like I wasn't in any sort of haste to like submit it. I was like, I didn't wait until the last minute, which like I'm not gonna lie, I'm guilty of like procrastinating in like every other aspect. But with this like specific thing, with the Coke Scholarship, I was like, nah, like I need to lock in. So
Yeah.
I think I started it like soon as it came out, like maybe like September, I think, and it was due like the initial application, like the first phase of the application was due like a month or and a half after I started it. So I was just like gradually putting in stuff, and also like I was having to remember all the like minute details and like some of the mundane stuff, like your community service hours, like what grades you got in every single class, like So it was kind of like time consuming to fill out the first stage as well as the second stage. Like the first stage wasn't crazy, but the second stage was more time consuming. But I would say like I really like spent time making sure that I hit every box. And like I know that like the first stage is literally like they put it through it's like an algorithmic like analysis or something. Like I'm pretty sure they put it in some sort of computer like to decide if you hit some sort of threshold. But for the second phase, at least I know they actually read through what you put, because that's like what's substantiating whether or not you actually get selected for the interview. So once I got semifinalists, I was already geeked. Like me and one of my really close friends both got the semifinalists, which was like crazy. Because I mean, I don't think there's anyone from like our school there's no one from our school who's ever gotten a scholarship before. So I mean, a lot of kids there, like for example, when I went to Scholars Weekend, like a lot of kids were like, oh yeah, there's 2-3 kids from my school that get it every year. And I was like, oh, like that's crazy.
Crack school right there. Like what?
I don't know. I'm like, bro, what a feeder school. Like that's crazy. Like every year you have multiple Coke Scholars. Like that's crazy.
Especially with 0.15% chance. Yeah, it's definitely something for your school for sure.
But yeah, so like I was super geeked when I got semifinalists, but I was like, okay, like I feel like I'm gonna get let down. Like I'll get close, because even semifinalists is like that's still like 1%. I mean,
like 250 to 150, right?
Well, no, I'm talking about like from the initial application to the amount of semifinalists. So it's like 105,000 to like 1,300, which is like 1%. It's like 1.2% or something like that. And then from there, it's like 1,300 to 250, and then 250 to 150.
150, yeah.
So yeah, I mean, after I got in, I was invited to apply for the regional finalist or the semifinalist application, like to become a regional finalist. I really spent time on it, like I really did. Also, I don't know if this is like a tip, because I'm sure you'll apply next year.
Yes.
And I have confidence. Like I feel like you're definitely a good candidate. I feel like you can definitely get it. Yeah, for sure. But I really spent time, like I really tried to make sure that like I was revising my responses, because you have to submit like 100 word like description of each of your extracurriculars, and like there's up to like 18 or 20 that you can put. So it's like I don't know if you have any experience with Common App, but like it's a lot more in depth. Like it's a lot more in depth. Like you really have to expand on what you did, and like I think that really was to my benefit, because for some of my extracurriculars on a surface level, they don't look like, I won't say, I feel like they were solid, but compared to, like I said, compared to a lot of other people, like have done some like crazy stuff. So I got to like, for example, like with the Chamber of Commerce, I got to expand on every single thing that I did. And,
like, did you get 100 words?
Exactly. Yeah. So that really helped me, and I'm a writer at heart also. I enjoy writing, so I think like it really helped me like be able to expand and like really convey the impact that I felt that I had made. So I think that benefited me as well. And then once I submitted it and figured out I got regional finalists, I was just like, dude, like there's no way, like because that's already like, I'm sure it's close in percent. It's still less than the percent to get regional finalists. Like it's still some crazy number, like 1/4% or something. So like I was just like, there's no way. But when I did the interview, I felt like I really feel like I left the interview knowing that I had it in the bag, just because like my interviewers were like really interested in the stuff that I did, and I feel like I was able to like be really personable, and it felt like a genuine conversation. Really, like I'm just letting you know this as advice, like when you make it to the interview round, I'm just letting you know, don't or even like for example, this advice goes for college as well. Like you really need to treat it like a conversation. Like that's all it is.
Yeah.
I know it's obviously like the nature of it is competitive, and it seems like it's going to be like this daunting thing that's like way above you. But like if you're chosen to go that far, they see something in you that you need to display, because I feel like a lot of people don't understand, but the reason that a lot of people get knocked off for like the 100 people that don't end up qualifying out of the 250, it's really like a lot of nervousness. Like, if all you need to do is convey who you really are and what they saw on paper in person, I guess over Zoom, but like just you really need to try to convey that, and don't try to just try to not be pretentious, because like that, I think that's also what gets a lot of people, like the 4 pillars of the scholarship are literally like about being involved in your community, being a leader, being an active citizen, like being engaged. Like it's not about your accolades or your awards, it's about who you are as a person and like how you want to change your community. Yeah So like I think even if you literally don't even like, even if what you want to do is a work in progress, because that's what it was for me. Like, because for example, I literally gave the example that I used, like, because I was also held leadership positions in like other organizations campus, but for example, Spanish Club was one that I was involved in as well. And literally like this was going on with all of kind of the national issues as far as like immigration and all that stuff goes, and like the detainments that were happening, and I was trying to provide resources for students on campus because I felt it was important regardless of like what my school's administration had to say about it. So I felt it was a point to provide resources for students who maybe don't have access to them, or whose families don't have access to them, because again, like constitutionally they have these rights regardless if like the administration or not agrees with it. So that was something that I was explaining to them, that I was working on within my chapter at the time. And I was also just, asked about my experiences, like, and like my outlook on life and stuff like that, rather than like focusing on, oh, this award that you got, or like, what's your ACT score, or what's you, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, more mundane stuff like that, because that stuff is for college applications. That's not for this.
That's all for college apps. Like, this is trying to say you're who's a leader who wants to actually do what they actually strive for, rather than who has the best application, who has the best stats out of everybody. So to wrap up this episode, the Voice for You podcast is about empowering the leaders of today and tomorrow. So as a young leader yourself in our community, what is some advice you can give to either like me or the audience members, or just anybody in general, about trying to be a leader in their own community and trying to strive for a change?
I would say do not let any limitations, whether it's like inside of your own head, or like maybe societal barriers, or like even limitations by the people who are close to you that maybe have been placed on you, never let that stop you from like trying to achieve your goals. Because regardless of what anyone says, like, it's your life. Like, or I don't care if it's like a college application, a scholarship, like a job application, no matter what it is, at the end of the day, you're the dictator of your own destiny. I know it sounds cliche, but like genuinely, like I'm a victim of this. Like, I got in my own head a lot, but I feel like literally if you just do stuff without thinking about it, sometimes you have to just get in like a rhythm of just putting yourself out there and not necessarily thinking about the consequences that may come after, or like maybe the embarrassment or whatever. Like, all that stuff is, I mean, I guess it's not important at the end of the day. I would say, and also like take advantage of literally every opportunity that comes before you. Like, every opportunity, no matter how small, because everything leads to one another. I mean, your life is like a bunch of building blocks. I mean, so I would say any opportunity that you're given, which currently, I mean, obviously you're doing by interviewing all these Coke Scholars, but I would say like, don't let anything limit you, and take advantage of every opportunity that you're given. Those would be my 2 pieces of advice.
Definitely. No. Everything happens for a reason. If you get rejected, you get said no. It happens for a reason. It's fate. Everything happens for a reason, and you just go along with the flow. If you feel like doing something, go ahead. That's something I live by. Every day. If I didn't do what I truly felt like, if I didn't step outside of my comfort zone, like, I wouldn't be here interviewing you, because let's be honest, it is a big feat to DM random people that have won a certain scholarship and ask them, hey, join, hop on the podcast, spread your wisdom, which you have for sure, 100%. And, obviously you have to step outside your comfort zone, like talking to people like Chamber of Commerce, the flea market, being in that entrepreneurship field. That entrepreneurship is all about stepping outside your comfort zone, let's be honest. Like, business networking, it's just making yourself out there and making yourself feel more comfortable. So I definitely can see where you're coming from there, and that is something that I try living by every day whenever I can. So super great advice, definitely.
Of course.
But once again, Dylan, thank you so much for hopping on today's episode of the Voice for You podcast. It really does mean a lot to me, taking a shot on this podcast, and spreading your words of wisdom. And yeah, just thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem, man. No problem. If you ever have any questions, or, need any assistance with the scholarship, or like any college applications or anything like that, feel free to reach out to me.
Definitely. And once again, to the viewers, thank you so much for watching till the very end. Remember to follow the Voice for You podcast on Spotify, Instagram, and YouTube. Once again, I'm your host, Jeshwant Vana. Thank you so much, Dylan, for hopping on the podcast today. And we will see y'all next time. Thank you so much.